The air in Washington, D.C. felt thick with meaning on June 18th. The kind of evening when history seems to hover just above the skyline, electric and humming. Across the city, political tensions simmered, storms had swept through in erratic bursts, and the weight of the times pressed on the consciousness of anyone tuned in to the pulse of the nation's capital. Yet inside Northwest Stadium, something else was building, a different energy, one rooted in music, resilience, and connection. Welcome to Celebrity Rap Life, where the red carpets never roll up and the spotlight never fades. The rewards are legendary. Because in Celebrity Rap Life, every downfall can become a comeback, and every headline tells a deeper story. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a second of what's coming next. As Kendrick Lamar and SZA prepared to bring the U.S. leg of their massive Grand National Tour to a close, thousands of fans poured into the stadium despite the erratic weather. The crowd came ready, some draped in ponchos, others defiant beneath the open sky. Conversations buzzed about the storm clouds, about recent news headlines, and about what tonight's show might deliver. There was a shared understanding that this wouldn't just be another concert stop. It was the culmination of something larger, a season of music that had reshaped both artists' careers, a tour that had carried messages of identity, defiance, and healing across the country. The early hours of the evening brought uncertainty. Dark clouds refused to clear. Rain fell in steady sheets, pausing only to return harder. Lightning had crackled far off in the distance. The looming threat wasn't only atmospheric. Just miles away, headlines from Capitol Hill had grown even more charged. President Donald Trump had delivered fresh warnings about escalating conflict with Iran, with news alerts lighting up smartphones in the stadium. But even with uncertainty hanging heavy, DJ Mustard's opening set began to shift the mood. The West Coast DJ had been with the tour since day one, delivering anthems that throbbed with bass and optimism. His nearly hour-long set leaned hard into LA street anthems and high-energy crowd favorites. And as the beats poured out of the sound system, the skies began to shift. Almost on cue, as if the music itself was part of larger orchestration, the rain began to ease. Slowly at first. Then all at once. Clouds parted just enough to allow slivers of fading light to streak across the stadium. Somewhere behind the stage rigging, a faint rainbow appeared, drawing cheers from those who caught sight of it. When Kendrick Lamar finally took the stage, flanked by the now familiar visuals of the Grand National Tour, stark, symbolic imagery layered with cinematic lighting, the crowd was ready to release whatever weight they'd carried in with them. Lamar, ever the deliberate showman, wasted no time in setting the tone. Opening with "United in Grief," the stadium immediately shifted into communal rhythm. The track's haunting piano motif echoed across the space, Lamar's voice cutting through with the precision that has made him one of hip-hop's most revered lyricists. There was a palpable urgency in the performance, an acknowledgement of the moment in which it was being delivered. The early part of his set drew heavily from both Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, and his latest GNX material, offering a reflective, layered tapestry of personal confession and social commentary. Count Me Out, Die Hard, and the thunderous N95 landed with particular force, the crowd shouting lyrics back toward the stage in unison. SZA soon followed, taking her place at center stage as the visuals shifted again, lush, aquatic tones setting the mood for her entrance. If Kendrick's first set had provided a cathartic release, SZA's first notes brought a different kind of transcendence. Her voice, at once delicate and powerful, poured out over the crowd as she launched into selections from SOS and her deluxe project, Lana. Songs like Kill Bill and Snooze drew massive sing-alongs, but it was the aching vulnerability of Gone Girl that seemed to touch the audience most deeply. Phones lit up the stadium in soft waves as SZA floated through the track, her vocals soaring effortlessly into the night sky. There were moments where the two artists shared the stage, and those moments felt the most electric of the night. During a joint performance of All the Stars, the crowd swayed in a unified sea, voices rising in a chorus that seemed to erase the previous hours of uncertainty and tension. The narrative arc of the night continued to build. Kendrick returned with more aggressive cuts, diving into DNA, Mad City, and the recent hit, Not Like Us. The latter, still reverberating from its viral dominance, sent shockwaves through the audience. The ground beneath the stadium seemed to vibrate as fans jumped and danced in wild, unrestrained celebration. Even in a city long known for its political stoicism, the atmosphere had shifted fully into euphoria. Yet Kendrick has always known when to pivot. He understands the emotional flow of a show, when to turn the crowd up, when to let them reflect. So after the high of Not Like Us, he brought the set down again with a soulful performance of Mother I Sober. Here, the stadium grew almost silent. The raw honesty in Kendrick's voice, the sparse production, and the deep themes of trauma and healing held everyone captive in the moment. As the final hour of the show unfolded, the artist's awareness of their setting became even more evident. Kendrick spoke briefly to the crowd about the significance of performing in D.C. on the eve of Juneteenth. He acknowledged the historical weight of the city, the ongoing struggles and victories woven into its streets. "It's bigger than the music tonight," he said simply. The crowd roared its approval, knowing exactly what he meant. SZA's closing set brought warmth and emotional closure. Her renditions of Love Galore and Broken Clocks felt especially poignant under the now clear night sky. Before her final song, she paused to address the audience directly. "This has been such a beautiful ride," she said, her voice catching slightly with emotion. "And this city, this crowd, y'all made this last night in America so special." The night's final number, a collaborative performance of Gloria, brought the entire ensemble back to the stage. As the song built to its final crescendo, SZA raised both a Mexican flag and an American flag high above her head. "Love to all my immigrants," she called out. The statement, delivered with conviction, hit deeply in a city that has long been a flashpoint for debates over immigration and identity. And then, just like that, it was over. As the crowd slowly funneled out of Northwest Stadium, there was a feeling of collective gratitude in the air. Fans lingered in groups, reluctant to let the moment pass. For those in attendance, the night had been more than a concert. It was a release, a celebration, a reflection, a reprieve from the heaviness of current events, and a reminder of the power of live music to connect, heal, and inspire. The Grand National Tour had been an undeniable force throughout its run in the U.S. Kendrick Lamar and SZA had not only reinforced their dominance as live performers but had elevated their cultural impact in the process. The tour had sold out stadium after stadium, shattered streaming records, and sparked dialogue far beyond the confines of the music industry. And now, as the U.S. chapter came to a close in D.C., it was clear that both artists were preparing to take this momentum into the European leg of the tour, beginning July 2nd, with even more to say. Looking back, it's hard to imagine a more fitting way for the tour to conclude its American run. On a night where weather, politics, and history all seemed to converge, Kendrick Lamar and SZA reminded their fans, and perhaps themselves, that art still has the power to rise above it all, to transcend, to unify. And as the final echoes of music faded into the DC night, there was no doubt that this was a performance those in attendance would carry with them for a long time to come. This story is far from over, and the truth is still unfolding. I want to hear what you think. Drop your take in the comments. And if you don't want to miss the next twist, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a second of what's coming next.